So, I don't know about you, but whenever I watch the news and they start talking about one of those heated, controversial topics, like abortion or gay marriage, and I don't agree with their perspective, I'll either turn the channel or I'll sit there and slowly get angry because I just don't agree. So, I figured it might do me some good to do a little thinking about how people I usually disagree with actually feel about some of these topics. I decided to take a handful of commonly disputed topics and describe how the average scientific worldview prescriber would argue about them, because I do not prescribe with this worldview myself. The scientific worldview asks questions to find answers within the natural realm only. People within this worldview do this by focusing on numerical data and measurable quantities, more specifically through the process of research, observation, and experimentation. The first topic I chose to discuss is animal testing. The scientific mind believes that there is no problem with animal testing because it helps advance scientific research. It has contributed to numerous life-saving cures and treatments for both humans and animals. The moral argument regarding animal testing is invalid. Everything is being performed for the advancement of mankind. If we did not test vaccines on animals, there would be no plausible way to test anything properly before it was distributed publicly. Animal testing is merely a necessary step in the scientific method. The scientific mind values research and the advancement of humankind. The moral and emotional arguments that are attached to this topic are not reliable because they clutter objective logical reasoning. The scientific worldview also finds meaning in learning from observation and experimentation, which is the exact premise of animal testing. The next topic is global warming. The scientific mind believes that the Earth is slowly rising in average temperature because research can prove it. You can compare temperature maps of the Earth from the last 100 years and observe the rise in temperature. Evidence of global warming is quite apparent. First of all, there has been a global temperature increase since 1880, with most of this warming occurring between the 70s and today, and the 10 warmest days occurring in the last 12 years. There has also been shrinking in both ice sheets and glaciers, as well as decreased global snow cover and an increase of ocean acidification. People within the scientific worldview would believe in global warming simply because of the facts that have yet to be disproven. All of them have been tested and observed time and time again, and have not been proven wrong, so the global warming theory can be considered truth to those within the scientific worldview. Next is stem cell research. They would argue that the usage of stem cells, both adult and embryonic, is permissible in various situations. The uses that stem cells could and should be used for include testing for new drugs and serving as replacement cells. When used for testing, they help find cures and treatments for diseases and disorders without harming a living being. When used as replacement cells, stem cells are substituted for destroyed or malfunctioning cells that cause diseases or defects, such as heart disease, diabetes, and osteoarthritis. Someone within the scientific worldview would argue this because stem cells are a researched advancement in the scientific and medical communities. The scientific mind would therefore support the use of these cells because they have been experimented with and help advance and improve medical efforts. The next topic is sex ed. The scientific mind would argue for comprehensive sex education in schools because it would help further advance and educate society. They definitely would not argue for teaching abstinence only, because that argument stems mainly from religious practices. Comprehensive sex education involves the education of detailed information regarding STDs, contraception, and abstinence to students. Someone within the scientific worldview would argue for comprehensive sex education because they greatly value the advancement of humankind through knowledge. Educating students about sex thoroughly and comprehensively would ensure that they receive all of the information they need to make healthy decisions. This will hopefully help advance mankind by cutting down on the amount of STIs among people, specifically young people. The final topic is the legalization of marijuana. The scientific mind argues that marijuana should be federally legalized, but only for medical uses, because the only proven instances where cannabis has been solely beneficial to the user is when the user is taking it to help treat a disease. The benefits of medical marijuana include suppressing nausea, relieving eye pressure, reducing muscle spasms, stimulating appetite, and stopping convulsions. Marijuana can be used to treat patients with cancer, AIDS, glaucoma, epilepsy, and multiple sclerosis. Because the scientific mind values research and deems truth to be anything that has been tested and not yet proven wrong, it would support medicinal marijuana because it has proven to help those with certain diseases, but it also helps advance society medically because of the treatments it provides patients. I'm not saying that this is exactly how people who adhere to the scientific worldview would feel about these given topics. I am merely saying that these would most likely be common viewpoints possessed by those with the scientific mindset. I feel it is vital to try and understand others' viewpoints of a given topic before you can form a coherent opinion yourself. You obviously won't agree with many of them, but it still helps broaden your understanding of a given topic. So I think that focusing in on one viewpoint or one worldview and trying to put yourself in their shoes is a good exercise to practice.